Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between. We are ETX ROCKS!
Hit the brakes!
Cut! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the ETX ROCKS Show with yours truly, Boston Chris. We are here in Argyle, Texas. You're probably wondering, where is Argyle? Well, it's real close to Denton, which I guess is kind of close to Dallas. Like, when you fall asleep out here at night, you still get that city glow in the distance that I wasn't used to, but I am now. So we're here with a great country, Christian, gospel, just all kinds of different genres singer. Her name is Crystal Yates, and she's from, where are you from?
Well, I live in McKinney now, but I'm originally from the Panhandle, Florida.
Okay, so she's in McKinney now, and so that's Dallas area,
Yep.
DFW.
Yep.
And they're going to do a song, one of her original songs for us, and this song is called Leave Me Alone to Die.
Traveled up this lonely mountainside, and I leave this troubled world behind. I have fought and I have won. The battle here for me is done. Where I go, you cannot come. Leave me alone to die. Devil, leave me alone to die. You've been chasing me so hard since the day I was born. Won't you leave me alone to die? It's amazing grace that got me here today. Oh, the narrow path, yeah, that separates the golden wheat from the chaff, the masterpiece from the draft. God settled death on my behalf. Leave me alone to die. Devil, leave me alone to die. You've been chasing me so hard since the day I was born. Won't you leave me alone to die? I can hear the mighty voice of my Lord. I can feel him closer than he's ever been before. God has fought and he has won the battle. He for me is done. Where I go, well, devil, you can't come. Leave me alone to die. Devil, leave me alone to die. You've been chasing me so hard since the day I was born. Won't you leave me alone to die? Well, you've been chasing me so hard since the day I was born. Won't you leave me alone to die? Oh, woo!
All right, y'all, that's Crystal Yates with Leave Me Alone to Die. And we'll be right back with our interview with Crystal right after these messages.
This is Katie Kennedy, the owner of the Liberty Bell located in historic downtown Nacogdoches. We would like to invite you to come on down for our live music, our extensive menu, including our brunch menu available on the weekends, and excellent service. We're open every day of the week except for Monday. We've got live music every day and drink specials. So we'd love to see you in Nacogdoches. Come on down, tell them Katie sent you.
All right, guys, so we are back with Crystal Yates. That was a very powerful song. The message in that song is unbelievable. So can you tell us what inspired you to write Leave Me Alone to Die?
Well, there's a couple of different situations, but the main one for me was when I was 5 years old, I was kidnapped, and I lived in this little trailer park, and our house was only a couple of houses down from this little store. And so my granny, my mama, would watch me walk, and she'd call the owner, tell him I'm coming. And it was a really big deal for me to get to walk to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one day, I guess somebody had been watching me as I went in, and they snuck in the back, and the owner never saw them come in. And I was in the back looking for a jump rope, and he's like, "Oh, they don't have jump ropes here. I'll take you to where one is." And so I went out the back with him into the woods, deeper and deeper into the woods, and I got really scared. And I just knew that I was in the presence of, I didn't know what the word was for it then, but I knew it was evil. Like, it was dark. It wanted my life. I could just feel that. And so my mom would watch me walk down, but my granny, my dad's mom, my granny taught me about prayer and about praying and praying out loud. And she told me, she said, if you're ever afraid or if you're ever in trouble, you can call on the name of Jesus, and you can call on God, and he will save you. And so I began to pray out loud, and I said, Jesus, help me, save me. And the man stopped what he was doing. And he got angry, and he said, do you want to go home? And I said, yes. And he never touched me or harmed me. And he walked me back through the woods where I could see my house, and the police were there waiting for me because I was gone a long time. But I was never harmed or never touched. And I know that's not everybody's story, and there have been people who have been hurt. But for some reason, there was something really important, that message I walked out of about prayer and about those times, because I think we all feel like that sometimes, like there's something out to get us that just seeks to destroy our very life. And there really, truly is something, sometimes I feel like that. And it's not the boogeyman, you know?
Yeah.
There's something after us and trying to steal our joy. And so what that song is for me is it's to teach people bravery, and myself, even in the face of death,
Right.
to rise up and not be afraid, and look it in the eye and say, no, you're not welcome here.
Turning fear into faith.
Yes, exactly. That's beautiful. I couldn't have said it better. So yeah, and so totally, that's what happened in that situation. I also, when I was 9 months old, my mom said I was crying in the backseat of the car. She's in the passenger seat, and our cousin's driving. And she said, I'm crying and screaming. And she just had this feeling to take me out and try to calm me down. And she's riding the passenger seat. She said it was not even a minute later that another car hit the side and crushed my car seat completely.
Wow.
And this is at 9 months. So I have lots.
So you were meant to be here.
I'm assuming so. I've foiled somebody's plans, and then I've been part of a greater plan for sure.
Yeah.
To be here, and that is my heart. Is as a songwriter, I really believe that I'm here to, just write prescriptions for my soul and share my prescriptions with other people,
Right.
and just share them and inspire people, and remind myself to live a brave life of faith, and enjoy it, because I really think we're meant to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Continuously uplifting.
yeah, and so that's my heart. That's my heart as a songwriter and as a human being, is to uplift and inspire and encourage others.
And do you think those early moments in your life maybe, led you to being a songwriter? Do you think that was kind of fate in a way?
Well, it's all in me. All those things are really deep down and part of make up who I am, which comes out in songwriting. But as a little girl, when my granny was teaching me how to pray, and I think it was right before the kidnapping, I was sitting with my granny in church, and I saw a husband and wife singing. The husband was playing a piano and the wife was singing, and I started crying, and I just knew that was, I just recognized that was what I was supposed to do one day.
Right.
And I was supposed to be her, married to that guy. And so the guy that you heard back up singing and playing the guitar on the song is my husband. We've been married for 18 years.
And we will get to that very shortly, I promise you. We will give Will
Yes.
some time to talk. He's probably not ready for that. He's making Frankenstein faces. But
Don't let him fool you.
So you're originally from the Panhandle, like you said. I guess it's a town called Niceville.
Yes, nice.
So tell us what it was like growing up in Florida.
It was nice. I mean, it was wonderful. I mean,
Should have brought drums instead of a guitar.
it was really a great childhood because it was a small town. So there's the small town things, you know, what happens in small towns. Everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody knew your business, but also it was beautiful because I grew up around tons of family. My family founded and made Niceville a town, both sides of my family, in the 1930s.
Wow.
And they were all a bunch of fishermen. It was originally called the Boggy Bayou Fishing Camp. And both sides of my family and a bunch of other people, 333 people, signed this thing called the Niceville 333, and it made it the town of Niceville. And so very, very rich roots in Niceville. Lots of fishing, sitting on fishing banks, going fishing with my dad, floundering. So it'd be like midnight. So I thought it was so cool because I'm out late at night. When we fished in our town for a fish called the mullet.
Yep.
And we go cast out nets and pull those mullet in.
Pulling all those 80s hairdos in by the
Oh, no. I know. Whenever, that's so hilarious you'd say that because when I tell people we have the mullet festival, they're like, they look at me like,
You guys have Billy Ray perform every year?
actually, he did one year.
He did.
He did one year perform at the mullet festival with his mullet.
That's actually what put that festival on the map. It's a
Yeah.
long
That is
story,
so
but
funny.
It really is, yeah.
That is great.
And so, yeah, so I guess for me, it was very rich, like surrounded by family. So we really have uprooted to come to Texas because
Right.
he's from that part of Florida as well. We were, okay, he's taking
So
pictures.
what could you tell us what some of your early musical influences are?
For me, it's so broad. Like it's all the way from my very first song I ever knew before I knew the ABCs was Hank Williams' "Why Don't You Love Me Like You Used to Do." So, and Satin Sheets and paper.
Jeannie Pruitt.
Oh yeah. So it was, my parents listened to the Opry. We grew up, we'd take a lot of trips down to South Florida where my granny lived. And we would listen to the Grand Ole Opry. We would listen to Hank Williams. We would listen to Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings. And then when I got into my early teens, I guess about middle school, I started really headphoning and listening to singers like Aretha Franklin and Mariah Carey and Percy Sledge and all the soul. So, and then I was very influenced by gospel as well, going to church with my granny. I heard good Southern gospel music. So there's the twang, there's the gospel, there's the soul, and there's also a lot of spiritual like type music, like from old spirituals, because I sang in choirs.
It's so funny you say that because we're driving from Longview to DFW yesterday, and we're listening to your songs, and we do that a lot when we're fixing to interview somebody. We want to get a feel for the sound and the style and all that. And the first name I thought of was Aretha Franklin when I was listening to your voice. And then I'm thinking to myself, wow, and I'm getting like further along in your music, and to me it was like a combination between Aretha Franklin and Alison Krauss.
Ooh.
It was like a love child between those two. And then so when you just said it, Aretha Franklin, I pointed at my girlfriend because anytime anytime I'm spot on with a music thing, because I'm still learning how to like vocalize what I hear and see and things like that. So when I mean, like, you just vindicated me. So
let me affirm your gift.
Yes,
I mean, obviously, yeah, because I listened a lot to Alison Krauss as well, and that haunty, that's kind of in that spiritual,
that storytelling
haunty,
that she does with just
realm. So all that you're completely dead on. Those are my influences musically: is soul, twang, spiritual, gospel, all of that rolled into one, and I call it swamp music because I'm from the swamp.
Okay, so tell us what brought you all to Texas.
Well, we were full-time working as worship pastors at a church, and a song began to get really popular within worship called Revelation Song. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the night that we practiced it, we practiced it, and something it was just a very special song. I don't know how to describe it. Just when we practiced it, I was like, wow, this song had its own life. And so I read the paper of who it was by, and her name was Jenny Riddle. And I was like, I've never heard of her before. I got home and ran into her through a mutual friend on MySpace, dating myself. Back when I had a MySpace.
Remember the top 8.
You know, it's still around.
the
MySpace
top-
is still around.
Yeah, but I kept getting viruses when I tried to log back in again. So I was like, crap, I'm doing that again. So I found her. She's a songwriter. We had a mutual friend, and I thought that was so weird. Wrote her, and we began working together and writing together. And we write country as well as gospel and worship together. And so she ended up asking us to come and live in her house. And so we did. We left our jobs. We pretty much gave away all of our furniture and all of our possessions and came to make a new life in Texas. And we'd always kind of felt pulled here, and we didn't know why. And now that we're here, we know why. It is such, I mean, I'm from Florida, but this is my home now. Texas is my home.
How does the music scene compare here to where you know, the part of Florida that you guys were at?
Oh man, it's like apples and airplanes. It's very, very different. Well, our part of Florida is very touristy part of Florida. So a lot of like cover bands, a lot of like things like that.
Like island music too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. And there's not a lot of like, there's not like the rich sort of storytelling. I guess history or heritage that you have here in Texas. It's there, but it's not as dominant. As it is.
Yeah, being a singer-songwriter there, you know, people just want you to play their favorite cover songs. I mean, but that's even here too. I mean, it can be anywhere. But there, because it is such a tourist-driven area, if you want to make money, like, you kind of have to do cover songs
You kind of have to be what's going on.
Exactly.
And so, and it's not that, like, there are some great bands and great musicians there. I mean, really great musicians.
I had a
and
really
writers.
good friend of mine from Massachusetts who was a legend up there, and you know, a country singer in Massachusetts just doesn't work very well sometimes. You know, Northeast and all that. But he's a Hall of Famer up there now. But you know, he ended up getting divorced, and he moved to Key West. And he ended up with a 20-year gig at the same bar in Key West, Florida.
There you go.
That's cool.
There you go.
You know, and playing his own original stuff. And adding
That's
some,
a good day.
You know, writing island music and funny stuff, and you know, kind of Jimmy Buffett type of music. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
But here we find that there's a great mix here, like, of places that are listening rooms that are more about being a singer-songwriter. Then there's some that are kind of in between. Like, we like to do a lot of wine cellars. Where we can do like some cover songs that we love and songs we wish we would have written, and then songs, you know, that we've written. And so that's kind of more who we are. We kind of intertwine it all because I love to sing songs that I love and grew up listening to.
Right.
But I also love to share, you know, my heart and stuff. So here, I feel like it's the perfect place to do that. And the music scene here is so great and welcoming. So it's just completely different than there.
So we just heard your guitarist speak for the first time. Why don't you introduce us to him and tell us how you guys came to be together?
Okay. This is my husband, Will Yates, and we have been married for over 18 years. But about 20 years ago, we met because we were both at the same college together. So we were at college together, and he can tell you a little bit more about that because he's got his own kind of story that he tells whenever he explains our situation. It's more colorful if he tells it than if I tell it.
That's awesome. No, I'm actually, believe it or not, from a town called Argyle, Florida. So it's serendipitous.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
My family, they're all a bunch of good Scots Presbyterian people. So
Yates.
they all came over and founded Argyle, Florida. But
So let me get this straight. Your family founded a town in Florida, and your family founded a town in Florida.
yeah, lots of history there.
What happens during football games?
It's Hatfields and McCoys. No, I'm
Oh yeah, it's actually, that's true.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. There you have like FSU and Florida rivalries.
Right,
and things
yes.
like
You
that.
hate
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah,
Right.
you're on one team. We met in college there. So we were both scholarship students at the college we were at, and I was the guitar player in the band. We were in the show choir band that did these like god-awful Broadway covers. 525,600. You can step touch and all that stuff. And then I was a guitar player in that band, and Crystal was like the token hot chick singer. You know?
See, that's why I haven't told. I can't tell that. I can't say that.
But a mutual friend paired us up. He was just like, I need somebody to play for my brother's wedding. You play, she sings. And so for the better part of 3 or 4 weeks practicing things, I'm stuck in this little piano rehearsal room, like just big enough for a grand piano. So I'm sitting next to the bench, this like, you know, really fine, you know, singer chick. And I remember I played something she really liked, and she does this. She goes, "Good job," and like pats my leg, and I was just like, oh, just total like nerded out. That was pretty much it, man.
But what was so funny about that is he played guitar in the show band thing that we did.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he played piano, and that's how I recognized him as my husband. Because when I was a girl, when I was 5 years old, I saw a man playing piano and a woman singing, and I was like, "That's." And so when he started playing the piano, I was like, "That's my husband."
So when he's nerding out, you're like going back to visionary school.
I am, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 5 years old sitting on a pew going.
He's nerding out because you just touched him and you're planning the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. You're very astute, my man. You're very astute. Yeah, I'm like in Dorkville, and she's like thinking about life and eternity and stuff like that.
And where, like, positioning when you're lighting the candles.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about your style. Describe your style of music, if you can.
Well, it's probably all those influences. I mean, it's spiritual, but it's country, but it's soulful. So, I mean, I feel like I love and I gravitate towards the Americana genre, because that is kind of what that is going on. There's still storytelling, but there's a lot of
fusion in it too, like that fusion.
And so I feel country Americana. I mean, I love country, and I write like this other song I'm going to share with y'all is definitely old country feeling.
Right.
But I hopefully you can hear those soulful influences. So that's why I really love and probably relate a lot to kind of both those genres. I mean, but nowadays, like,
they're kind of first cousins anyway.
Yeah, Americana really is actually starting to be a home for many of the country artists that, you know, like that fit a little bit more in a lot more country, you know, and not so much the pop, and they're just
not quite mainstream.
Yeah, not mainstream. So those kind of people are finding a home in Americana, and I feel like I'm finding a good home there.
Yeah.
And that's
just a much cooler way to say folk music.
It is. It's like folk music, but with more instrumentation.
Yes.
Yeah. And a little bit more soul. And I mean, Americana is getting kind of broad now, because a lot of the.
Well, it's kind of like the old '90s alternative rock. You know, I mean, anybody could have fit into that. You know,
Right.
Americana is kind of like that nowadays. You know.
Yep.
It's true.
So, I mean, do you struggle with others attempting to kind of pigeonhole you guys and put you guys into one box or another?
I don't think so. We've been really fortunate. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm when I say that, I really mean it. Like, we've been really fortunate for people seeing and getting it and really enjoying our style. So I don't have like where some people are like, oh, no, you need to be this or you need to be that. I don't really get that. I
think we probably struggle with it ourselves.
Yeah, we're like, we need to do something here. We gotta fit something. And other people are.
No, I mean, like if you're putting a set list together, you know, I mean, you don't want everything to be the same chord or the same melody or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You
know. Well, this is, I mean, we're telling tales out of school here, but we actually very rarely do we actually plan out like a set list. We might pick like 3 or 4 songs, but for us, it's all about getting there and kind of feeling a room out. Or
very smart.
If it's like we have this much time to do, then we'll probably plan it out. But if we're doing like a show on our own, we'll just typically feel it out, just because it's about how the people are responding, you know, and what the mood is in the room, you know.
Yeah, people do. They like. I find myself like that's something that I love, is reading people and kind of reading rooms, and also for me as not just a singer-songwriter as I go, but I'm also a worship leader. So I already have this sensitivity to a room, and so when I walk into a wine bar or a bar or somebody's house, like you get it. Like if you walk in and people are kind of a little bit more subdued and quiet, then I might start thinking, you know, let me meet them where they're at, or let me just bring some joy. You know, like if there's a heaviness in the room, let me lighten it with something that's a little more fun. And so I love just putting a list of songs together. We have our song bank, and then just getting in and making it truly organic and having an experience together.
Absolutely.
So that's kind
It's
of
like going on the same ride together. At
yeah.
Exactly.
And so that
park or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
and that way, so each set kind of takes on a life of its own. Now it does make for some awkward moments, like I don't know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? What are you tuned for?
Pick one.
I know, and that's what we kind of do, but it makes all for the show.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So you mentioned you're a worship leader. So tell our listeners how important a role that your faith plays in your music.
Well, I don't think I would be here without faith. I mean, I don't think I would, because I had hit a very desperate low place as a young teen girl. I mean, I know we all do, and we all struggle and deal sometimes, and more so now, people are really dealing with anxiety and depression. I mean, it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to just speak that. I mean, I'm actually seeing that happen.
Yes,
and so
we have as well.
Yeah. And so just as being a person that was depressed, I wanted to live anymore. I felt like I had no reason to live. I was failing college. I found myself pregnant at a young age. I'm just going to be really open and honest.
Absolutely.
And I had an abortion, and it rocked my world. And there's women out there that they deal with that after that happens. Right. They deal with some of them deal with a deep depression, because nobody put a guilt on me. Nobody, but there was something really heavy about that. And I just remember after that, and after going through that, I hit my knees and remembered being that 5-year-old girl with a dream. And I cried out to God, and I said, God, if you really are real, then okay, my granny's told me you have all these rules, you know, yeah. And I've broken them all.
Yeah,
I've broken them all.
We all have.
I need to know, one, if you're real, but I don't even want to know if you're real if you can't love me. And a lady called me that afternoon after I prayed that prayer, and I had visited a church when I was 13 years old, and she said, and here I am 18, she said, God brought you to my mind today, and I just felt like I'm supposed to call you and tell you he loves you and he has a plan for your life.
Wow.
So I wouldn't be here if I don't know who I would be. I don't.
So do you feel like every time you write a song, your mission is to glorify him?
I feel like it's to be on a journey with him, whether I'm heartbroken or whether someone else is heartbroken, or no matter what. Like, I have a song, Goodbye Letter, and it's about my friend that was cheated on and lied to. And I wanted to write something that told her story and gave her voice. And I believe with all my heart, God was there with her during that.
Right.
And is with us even whenever, you know, we make mistakes and we have failures. I write about those too, because, you know, and then it's a great therapy
well, you know, you can't write about one side of the coin without acknowledging that the other side exists too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so in my mind, God is there with me through everything. So that's why it's important for me. So I believe it is glorifying, because it's celebrating a soul. Right. I mean, and what a soul goes through and journeys through, and finding a way to get out of.
All right, so you guys moved to Texas. You guys start performing some shows all around the DFW area. And I guess at several of them, you started getting encouragement to perform at a show called the Texaco Country Showdown. And to tell our listeners a little bit about this show, I know a lot of people do know about it because it's huge. But this is the largest and longest running country music talent show in America. And just to list, I'd like to list some former contestants that people might have heard of. People like Tracy Byrd, Tracy Lawrence, Carrie Underwood, Jason Aldean, Toby Keith, Brad Paisley, Miranda Lambert, Sarah Evans, Leanne Rimes, Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw, Martina McBride, and we just picked 12 out of probably hundreds. And these were contestants in this show. None of these folks have won this show. So you heard about this show, and you're real hesitant about the show. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us why you were hesitant to compete on the Country Showdown, and why?
I guess I'd gotten to the place in my life, I'm a little more seasoned than most of the kids that are in it. I'm in my 30s, by this time. And I thought, oh man, I don't want to be one of those people on a contest or a show,
right,
I mean, I know I'm not knocking it. I just felt hesitant for myself. And I guess that's why. I wanted it to happen organically, but
did you feel like it might have been like a shortcut in a way?
I don't know if I had that feeling because
I mean, before you competed, because I've heard that from other people. We've talked to Katie Lynn from America's Got Talent and other folks like that. A lot of people outside of those kind of shows would say, well, they're taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from someone that was inside of that, what would you say to someone like that?
Well, here's what my worry is I was worried about respect from people that I respect. I didn't want to be I didn't want to be looked at with like,
absolutely.
Oh, she did one of those contests,
Right.
But I had to lay that down and swallow my pride and do something that I felt like I was being compelled to do. So I would just say to the people that are in those, like, I feel like they're just as valid and they're just as important as somebody who's worked all the years and went through all the rungs, because it doesn't happen the same for everybody. And there's some people that land in Nashville and get picked up right away. You hear those stories.
I mean, that's not to say that you didn't go through those rungs yourself before you got on that show either. I mean, people, that's the one thing I don't like about these shows is they don't tell the story the way it actually is.
Yeah.
Like Katie Lynn was on America's Got Talent and they made it seem like, we discovered her. No, she's been playing since 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it bugs me.
Yeah.
Because I know that you don't just become a musician on day 1 of a talent show.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then obviously if you're on there and you're doing well, then you must have some type of talent.
Absolutely, of course.
So
especially when you list the kind of names that this one is associated with, So
I just think they're valid. I think it's all about the person. Now, do I think that we're over and saturated and inundated with, oh my gosh, so much?
Right.
But you know what? The cream always rises to the top.
Absolutely.
And so, if they're good, then they're good. It doesn't matter if there was or wasn't a contest. I really believe that if you put your heart and soul into it, you're going to find your spot. And you're on a journey that you're supposed to be on. And no matter what, your feet are at the right place. You got to remind yourself that, like, I'm on course, even though it feels I'm off course.
And it sounds like from reading part of your bio, that your faith is kind of, revolving around this too, because here you are, you guys are playing shows, and all of a sudden you're hearing about this same talent search every single week from different folks. It's almost like, road signs, hey, you need to go this way, Yeah. And it sounds to me like you were going to continually get those road signs until you finally agreed, you know what, we should probably do this.
It's exactly what happened.
So
you've done your homework.
Yeah.
We try. We try. I have a really good producer.
Yeah. Y'all are awesome.
The first time we actually heard about it was we were playing a clothing store opening, and we were just like, I'm not sure why we got here, and there was nobody there, and we kind of had a bad attitude about it. To
like,
honestly,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? And after we got done, I think it was one of the first times we had sang the songs we had written for our friend who was going through the divorce, and this goth girl comes up to, and I'm talking like full, and this is a few years ago, so goth is kind of on the fade, right? So she had like the white, and the black and lipstick and everything, and she comes up to us out of nowhere. We're tearing down after the set. She's like, your country songs are like really good. You should do this thing called the Texaco Country Showdown. And I was like, first off, I was like, what in the world do you know
about country
music?
Yeah.
She's like, no, my mom does it every year. I think you guys could win it. And then she like walked off and I never saw her again. And then it was like every day for like 5 days after that, someone would bring up the Showdown, and that proposed of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I got my transmission fixed. My daughter's going to college. Have you heard of the Showdown?
Yeah.
I just got this new pair of shoes. Have you heard of the Showdown? And it was just so exactly right. It's like the universe trying to cram it down our throats.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that works too. You know, it's like the road signs are always there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and obviously, you guys decided to compete in this show. So, tell us a little bit about the experience of being on this show.
Well, for the first, it was like almost a year long. Okay, so there was a preliminary round, then you had to wait a couple months. Then there was the local round, then you had to wait, and we go to Billy Bob's to do the state round. Then you got to wait a few months to go to the next one. So it was like, I was like, I'm going to have a stroke this year. I was like, I was just nervous the whole entire year. And then when each time we won, I was like, what? Because I just didn't believe that. I was like, but I think this person's so much more talented than I am. But it really was about my journey and this unfolding for us and what it's meant for us and our music and the way that we've utilized the funds that we won, has been also faith. You know, like, it's like you see a field and consider buying it and investing in it. And that's the way it's kind of been with this prize money. But when we found out at the regional in Raton, New Mexico, that we are going to the Ryman Auditorium to sing, that was it for me. I didn't even have to win. I was like, I already won.
That would be over for me. Like,
I already won.
I would just get into the doorway of that place, and they wouldn't be able to move me any further.
I know.
It's a
I've been there as a fan,
Well,
and that was enough for me. Just like dead on sobbing.
absolutely.
it is so haunted in the best way. I mean, like, honestly.
And I think it's so cool that, here I am almost 40 years old. I get to talk to people that have performed on the Ryman.
It was surreal.
It was really cool. This lady told us that the only way you sound good is if you let the ghosts of the Ryman play through you.
Yeah.
And I don't really subscribe to much of that thought, but while we were out there playing, all these Webb Pierce, Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, they're just coming through your brain.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is the Ryman was a church, as you know, so
Right.
like on the stage you can see the original stained glass windows, and the city lights of Nashville are shining through it.
Wow.
And so it is this hauntingly incredible.
That's unbelievable.
The whole time. And then when Leanne Rimes announced with the Texaco people, and they revealed my name on that check, I was like, what? Like, you could even see I
saw the video.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I'm just like, my jaw literally dropped.
Her face is just, and she's looking at the check like,
I was like,
like she's thinking, that looks like my name.
and then he comes out crying like he's just won Miss America.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like a teenage girl at a Bieber show.
oh man.
It was bad.
No, it's not rapid fire yet.
Oh, it's so fun.
All right, so you guys got a lot of my respect because I was reading, we read a lot about y'all. And while all of the other contestants in this show were gravitating towards performing with a full band, you guys made the unbelievably gutsy move of just going all the way through with one vocalist, one guitar player, 100% acoustic. So what motivated this decision?
I'll tell you, there's two things. The first round we did was in Paris, Texas, which was the station we represented, which was KITX. And the station manager there is a lady named Lisa Dirksen. And she tells you exactly how she feels about everything. After we won the first round, she came up to us. She's like, if y'all want to win this, just keep it the two of you. Don't go with the full band, ever. And that was the only thing she ever said to us about that. She never said, make sure you're doing that again. And we're like, okay, all right, cool. And so we kept it that way. And then also on like another level, like when we would do shows, we typically do it just the two of us. We do some full band things from time to time, but we feel like we connect better with an audience.
I would agree with that, yeah, for sure.
So it was really that simple. It's just we felt like we had a better connection. And
do you think there was pressure from round to round to switch it up?
For the Ryman one, for sure. Yeah, there was, especially.
There was pressure, and I too just thought to myself, if we win this, then I want to win it purely on the vocals and the song.
Yeah.
I want it to be so. I want to go completely naked, if you will, but not not talking about clothing, but in a musical
kind
sense.
of dumbed down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just wanted to go
exactly.
completely, just so they could hear exactly who we are, and I wanted to be able to walk out of there knowing that it was us as artists and as a songwriter, and that was
Kind of
what,
like that mentality, you know, we're gonna win as us or we're gonna lose as us.
right.
Exactly. Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I didn't want to add to or take away from. I wanted just to be us exactly who we are authentically, and that way I could walk away knowing too I've showed people,
Mhm.
you know, who we are, and it's important to me to be authentic, like to be the same person on and off,
Right.
and that we do everything together. We don't travel with the band very often. We're starting to a little bit more because I feel like naturally Fate's kind of been bringing us some band people that
Right.
now we can start to do that a little more. We would have had to have made it happen
Right.
before.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
So, for you listeners out there, I hope there's a lot of folks listening. If you haven't caught on yet, the 2014 winner of the Texaco Country Showdown was Crystal Yates. 29th annual, I think. Well, I think that was the 29th year. I think this one coming up is 32.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think.
So
yeah.
we're talking about 29 years. You were the 29th winner of this show. We mentioned all those names earlier. Some Hall of Famers, Grammy winners, platinum albums. None of them won this show. Crystal Yates did. So tell us how winning changed your music career.
Well, it taught me that we really are on a very, I feel like we're on a very specific journey. That when we won the money, it was weird. It was about a month before the show. I had this feeling come over me that we were going to win. And when I had that feeling, there were a few other things that were attached to that I had just like this still small voice. And it was, hey, you're going to win. There's not going to be a record deal. This is your money that you're not to use on anything practical. No cars, no houses. Don't change your lifestyle. Don't do anything extravagant with this money. Don't buy a car. Use every ounce of it,
Right.
little down to the penny, and invest it in your music and make yourself a career.
Right.
And so we've used it that way. And then also, I just felt like we were going to work harder than we've ever worked before in our lives.
And that's what when I was reading your bio, that's really impressed me. Because a lot of times when you win that amount of money, I won't say how much it was, it doesn't matter. But when you win that amount of money, you can kind of rest on your laurels a little bit if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And to show that motivation and drive for your own career really opened my eyes. Because you didn't want to just be a talent search winner. You want to be an artist. And sometimes that money can be a blessing to make that happen. And I respect y'all for making the decision of putting all of that back in. Which leads me to this. At this point, you know, you're coming off the high of doing this and winning this, and you pretty much can probably use just about any record producer or record label you want at this point. I mean, this is a huge contest you guys won. But somehow you guys picked out a Grammy Award-winning producer.
That was crazy.
Charlie Peacock. If you
Yeah.
guys don't know who he is, look him up. The guy's a genius. And Crystal immediately had her eyes on the best of the best, and she was going to go make it happen. So tell us how that happened. How do you go and pursue a partnership with someone of that caliber, and where did you find the courage to reach out to Mr. Peacock?
Well, winning the competition definitely gave me a shot in the arm. I will say that, and some actual money behind it as well. But I had been a fan of Charlie's work for years. I had recently fell in love with the Civil Wars, but when I went back and I looked at all the people he's produced, that I loved every one of them.
Ridiculous, yeah.
And each one has their own unique sound.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, when you hear
He
about
definitely
it,
seems to have that reputation of keeping within the artist's strength.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
and that's exactly what happened when
Yeah.
we went to him. And so I had a feeling he wouldn't dork with us, like
Right.
he wouldn't try
Yeah.
to mess up too much, that he would see who we were and that he would respect that. And so I involved myself before the competition with Dallas Art House in Dallas, and he's the head of Art House the Art House America program, which is based out of Nashville, and now we have one here in
and
Dallas.
tell us more about that too. We'd love to know more about Art House.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a connection. It's where you connect with other artists, visually, songwriters, photographers, and they all come together and network. And some of them end up serving each other. Like a photographer might get paired up with a singer-songwriter that needs pictures, or a videographer. And so it's all about strengthening each other. So I had started falling in love and being part of Dallas Art House. And so then I'd always dreamed of asking Charlie, but never dared. And then once that happened, I asked my friend that it's she's a large part of the Dallas Art House, and I said, "What do you think?" She's like, "Well, we can ask." I mean, she's asked for a lot of people. She's like, I mean, he's real picky. And I said, I know, but I mean, I feel like it'd be dumb not to ask, you know? And so she wrote an email. Within 30 minutes, he responded and said, how do you imagine me serving you?
That's awesome.
And what was crazy is that happened on a Monday. The Sunday before that, he just won 2 Grammys for working with the Civil Wars. And so we were like, and she had told us, I'm going to email him first thing Monday morning. And then the Grammys happened. And we're like, oh, God, he's not going to touch us with a 39.5-foot pole. No. And sure enough, within 30 minutes, he had emails back.
That's unbelievable.
And that kind of got the ball rolling.
And so he's produced an album for you guys.
Yeah, and it was a dream come true. I mean, it really was, and I'm real proud of the album.
We got to work with some legendary. I mean, Dan Dugmore, the guy that played steel guitar on Blue Bayou and Peaceful Easy Feeling, and Jerry McPherson has played for everybody on planet Earth. Near Z, who's John Mayer's drummer. Mark Hill was Keith Urban's bass player, and just incredible guy. Richie Biggs, who's the engineer. So he's fantastic. George Strait's last stuff. So.
What's the name of this album?
Well, that one is I Believe. That was our we've done Love Wins, I Believe, and then our newest one is called The Other Side.
And The Other Side's another one of my favorite songs, by the way. That's a really good song.
Thanks, man.
So do you feel you have found success? And if so, how do you define the word success?
I really feel like yes. Now, I don't want to stop pushing for new heights. I don't want to stop reaching for goals. But not that being the driving force. Let the driving force be the music itself and creating the music. But be very aware that this is a life that I've used to provide for my family, and we use to provide for our family. So we get to provide for our family and do something that we love to do. And in my book, that is successful, because I know people that work jobs and don't get to do what they love.
Right.
And so for me to do something that I love to do, and that I've dreamed of since I was a girl, and then just doing it as a person of faith too, that believes in something greater than myself, that there's something greater at work. I do feel like it's not like I'm sitting back and living the life, because it's hard work and it's a lot of tension.
Right.
Because you're always going to be pushing. You have to. I mean, you really have to. This is not being an independent musician is not for the faint of heart. It is for somebody who, yes, is talented, but the talent is not always going to win out. There are some people that get plucked out, and it's great. I mean, that's awesome.
Right.
And I don't look down on people like that at all, because they're talented and they're on a different path. For me, we have continued to work very, very hard. And I feel like that's successful, like getting to do something that you love to do and providing. And it's not like it's some extravagant life for me. For some people, it might be like if you get a #1 hit by Keith Urban or something like that, you know, it might feel extravagant then. But for me, I feel like when I hear people that the world might define as successful because they're really well off, and I hear them talk and how they're not happy and they're dissatisfied. So I think finding satisfaction with where you are in life, but also not being content to stay where you're at.
Absolutely.
Growing as a person, but being satisfied in the same sense. So it's this tension of being at rest with who you are and where you are, but also being okay with growing. It gives me freedom to grow.
Right.
Being content with what I've been given and doing the best with it. So I feel like, I mean, I hate to just like, yes, I feel successful, but I really do.
Yeah, we would always like, that was I mean, we were always trying to find a way to make music to some degree. Like when we were first married, like I was stocking groceries from like 4 a.m. till 2 p.m. I'd go home, take a nap, and then I'd go bust tables at the restaurant that she was waitressing at. This is like we were first doing, but we would still find a way to write and still find a way to work and still find a way to do little odd music place, jobs here and there and stuff. So it's just, we still feel like that, just always want to continue working and try to find, be innovative with stuff that we're doing. So.
Right, absolutely. So I know it's also very important to you. You lead worship as well at your church with worship music, and so tell us, what motivates you to do that. I mean, you have a music career. You're probably gigging a lot of the days of the week, and then Sunday mornings you wake up and you're leading church. So
sometimes we don't even wake up; we just go to church. If we were gigging late, Saturday night.
There's got to be a song there somewhere, right? Start writing.
Oh, I've already thought of a few titles for that. But for me, it's important because that keeps me, I wouldn't say like, I'm pretty grounded because we drive around in a Kia and, on our best day, and that's our tour bus is a little white Kia, and we've got a 3-year-old that's potty training in the back with an 18-year-old. We say our 18-year-old is to grow us up, and our 3-year-old is to keep us young. And so I'm pretty grounded in that way. And then also, but I think for me, that tie to the church keeps me fed. It keeps me fed. It keeps me nurtured. And it reminds me that I've got a group of people surrounding me that love me and that send me out.
So what would you like to see happen in the future of y'all's career?
I really want to write more for other artists, as well as there's some places that I want to play still on my bucket list. I mean, even though I got to check the big one off, the Ryman, that was the big one, I still want to be on the Grand Ole Opry one day. Those are like tangible goals, but really I want to continue to write for other artists, continue to expand into other cities, and continue to share our music more with other people.
Boston, I have a fan question for Miss Crystal Yates. Okay, this comes from Amber Johnston on my music page. She says, Crystal, I've been a fan since you won the Texaco Country Showdown. What was your very best memory of that night?
My very best memory, honestly, this may sound cheesy. Of course, getting to sing on that stage. But when my husband was crying more than I was, just knowing that I had that kind of support, I'm gonna cry. Just knowing, having that kind of support meant a lot to me.
And you guys can see that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to that on YouTube if you want to see her best moment and watch Will cry his mascara off.
And now I'm crying.
Let me tell you, my only claim to fame is once that started airing on TV, for about 3 or 4 months after, if you Googled ugly cry, my face was one of the first things that came up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so this brings us to our fun segment called Rapid Fire. And you guys have not seen these questions, and I'll let people know what this is about. This is called Rapid Fire. It's 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to answer 10 questions. These questions might be fun, they might be pop culture, they might be deep, but you have to be fast. And I want both of y'all to answer at the same time. You have a choice between 2 answers, so just yell out the first one that comes to mind.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, this is Rapid Fire with Crystal and Will Yates. Number 1, would you rather have a platinum record or a 30-year music career?
A 30-year music career.
Yeah.
Would you rather be in constant pain or would you rather have a constant itch?
Pain? Itching sounds annoying.
Yeah, pain.
All right, would you rather eat a stick of butter or snort a tablespoon of salt?
Stick of butter.
Stick of butter.
All right. Would you rather go forward in time or back in time?
Back.
Back.
Okay, would you rather sing karaoke or swim with the dolphins?
Swim with the dolphins.
All right, would you rather jump on a trampoline or go skiing?
Skiing.
All right, would you rather have an elephant trunk or a giraffe neck?
Trunk.
I'm 6'5", so elephant trunk.
All right, would you rather be famous or be best friends with someone who's famous?
Oh.
Jeez.
I don't know. It depends on what day. Some days I'm like, I want to have that career, and then some days like, oh, I just want to be next to
It
that.
depends
person.
on what they're famous for.
Can we just?
I don't want to be famous with the
Oh.
Preparation H spokesman, okay? I'm just
All right, so would you rather win the lottery or would you rather live twice as long?
Twice as long.
And last one, would you rather eat a handful of hair or would you rather lick 3 public payphones?
Payphones. Public payphones.
Payphones.
All right, so that was Rapid Fire with Will and Crystal Yates, and they're going to perform us another song right here live on the ETX Rock Show. So, Crystal, tell us a little bit about this song.
This is Hell on My Soul. This song speaks to just different ways that we mask and self-medicate when instead of getting real healing. And I started this song with my friend Kylie Ray Harris in Nashville. And we finished it in Texas. Oh, yeah. And she's in the video. We just put out a brand new video for this song. And she's actually the star in the video. I'm singing in it. And she's actually the girl, the person of interest in the story. And this is all about, though, just kind of uncovering those things and not being okay and talking about how self-medicating makes us feel.
Awesome.
Hell on my soul.
So this is Hell on Your Soul. Is it your soul?
It's everybody's soul, right? Don't we all have those things?
Hell on Your Soul.
Hell on your
soul.
or Hell on my soul.
Hell on My Soul, Crystal Yates. Take it away.
Well, I could drink you away tonight. Oh, wash out your memory just for a night. It's a quick fix, a cheap trick. It's just a lie. I always pay double. Come on and lie. Well, I've been to the lonely old bars, and I took me some comfort in some stranger's arms. I made love, fake love, gone way too far. I gave up my body and lied to my heart. 'Cause smoking and drinking, lovers and pills, well, they never work, and they never will. And after the pleasure, the sins take their toll. 'Cause they ease my body, but they're hell on my soul. Just hell on my soul. It's time to put on my best pretty face and finally look in that mirror and show myself grace. My chin up, all made up. I ain't got no shame. I'm getting ready, 'cause it's time for a change. Smoking the sins take their toll, 'cause they ease my body, but they're hell on my soul. Smoking and drinking, lovers and pills, well, they never were, oh, and they never will. And after the pleasure, the sins take their toll. They ease my body, yeah, yeah, but they're just hell on my soul.
Wow, what a great song.
Hello, everybody. This is Rio Wallace, and I am inviting you all to come out to the store Everything That Blings whenever you get the chance, which should be very, very soon if you have not already stopped by. So yes, the discounts are still here. The fashion is still here. The exquisite jewelry, exquisitely priced. Whatever word my Spanish teacher tried to tell me. Anyway, so come on out. We are here from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and open 10 to 6 every Saturday. So come on out and we will joyously craft you with an outfit that will be outstanding.
So where can people find you on social media? And
They can go to Crystal Yates Music, and I spell it with a C. Crystal, C-R-Y-S-T-A-L. CrystalYatesMusic.com. You can find on my social media there, but also if you go to Facebook.com, Crystal Yates Music. If you're on Twitter, you can go to Crystal_Yates. And then I believe on Instagram, it's Crystal Yates Music as well there. So the only oddball is Twitter, because I couldn't get my name. Somebody else owns it that doesn't use it.
What's up with that?
I know. Annoying.
So everybody, they can get your albums right there on CrystalYatesMusic.com.
Yeah, CrystalYatesMusic.com. You can go on iTunes and search and get the new album, The Other Side. I'm really proud of it. My good friend Mackenzie produced it, and he produced somebody I love so much out of Denton, Sarah Jaffe. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. And he just won a Grammy for playing on Rock Album of the Year for St. Vincent. So
wow.
He's a really cool guy, and I'm really proud of the music that we wrote and then took to him, and he did such a stellar job with it. And one of our favorite pedal steel solos ever is on our record, because, and I'm saying that objectively, like, we never thought anybody could top some of the pedal steel we've heard, but this guy Hank Early came in and played and just did a magnificent job.
So you guys out there, if you're listening, make sure you're following Crystal Yates all over social media. She does shows all over the DFW area. She's moving into East Texas with some shows, and all over pretty much everywhere in Texas. So if you want to come see Crystal, and you guys just heard how amazing she is, so you're going to want to see her live, make sure you're following her on social media. Make sure you're checking out her Facebook and her website. You guys remember to keep on supporting local music out there, and
ETX Rocks!
We are ETX Rocks!